I'm Tabitha Rock.
And I'm Sam Davenport.
Born and bred in Melbourne, we live and breathe property, and we know the Melbourne market like the back of our hand. We've both been buying and selling real estate in Metro Melbourne for over 2 decades combined, and we've learned a few lessons along the way.
Welcome back to Property Culture. I am in the studio for our first episode back for season 8 with not one but 2 golden legends, you might say, of Melbourne specific Australian TV, national star from what was it? Netflix and Razor Ray.
Umpire extraordinaire.
Well, actually, mortgage broker extraordinaire to me.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, why are you here? Because you're our chosen mortgage broker of the moment. You're the golden boy of broking. We love what you do. Chamberlain Co.
Yes.
And ever since meeting you now, I'm hearing you have this whole other life and everyone actually already knows you.
Well, a couple of quick things. First of all, thank you very much, ladies, for having me on. Greatly appreciated. I'm looking forward to today. I'm suitably caffeinated, so buckle up. And you can't fake, they do say you can fake 7 series, but you can't fake 8. So you're obviously doing something right if this is season 8 of the podcast. So congratulations.
Thank
Talking
you.
about all things different lives, I used to have a team member in our team at Chamberlain Co, and she would always giggle and ask me what it was like being in the witness protection program. She goes, "I swear to God, you got 3 different lives." So that was her perception of it. But got great people around me, which allows me to do me and gives them agency to do them.
Yeah, such an awesome team. You've built such a good team already. I mean, how many years has Chamberlain Co been going?
So we officially established. It's 20 years.
Wow.
I started when I was 12. I am old, and that is absolutely. We're entering the 5th decade.
I know. I was going to say.
Moments that make you sort of go, oh, wow, okay, we might want to get cracking. But 20 years and
haven't accomplished quite enough yet.
Yeah.
There's always other things to try and get involved in and undertake. But I arrived in Melbourne as a result of pursuing the footy and the umpiring stuff, which was again by accident. But I was actually a school teacher. I'd undertaken a Bachelor of Education at the University of Canberra, which I absolutely loved. It was
So is that where you grew up, Canberra?
Canberra, the nation's capital, and got out.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah, no, if you
didn't go into a government role.
No.
That would have suited your personality
we have
really
such
well.
a strong divide in our family between industry and private enterprise, and then Mum had a career in the public service. She's the smartest person in our family by a mile, and she won awards and all sorts of things in her role supporting a secretary of the department. And so they lock horns over Sunday roasts at the Chamberlain household as to who drives this country and who holds it back. It's quite entertaining. But yeah, I was from Canberra and came to Melbourne pursuing the umpiring bent, had undertaken a degree in education, which I absolutely am so grateful I did do. And I did teach. That's what I first undertook when I was here.
Yeah.
And I remember ringing my mum, who's not a swearer, and I won't say verbatim.
We can swear
you
on
can,
this.
a little bit? Okay, great. So I rang her to tell her I had landed this teaching job. It was my first teaching job. I said, "Mum, I've got a job." And she's like, "Oh, congratulations, Bub. What's it about?" And I said, "I've got an ongoing PE job at Moore Dialogue College." And she said to me on the phone, "It's Morty Alec, you fuckwit."
Oh my God, even I was like, where's that?
Steady on, Patricia.
Patricia.
Can we, Pat, can we just roll back and focus on the congratulations piece that I've got a job, right? And so that was where I undertook my teaching, was at Morty, and loved it and met so many awesome people that, this circle of life piece, like they were all in there as young teachers. The principal knew we need to pump in some new blood, and so we were all these young bucks that sort of came in and were a bit crazy and learning life. And then the next time you run into them, your kids' first day at primary school and their kids, and they're in the same class, and it's like, oh my God.
So true.
These different times.
Yeah.
So these people are still in your life now. So that's what brought me to Melbourne. Footy, did some teaching. I loved it. But as AFL progressed and the demands on that, and I wanted to prioritize that and try and be the best version of myself, whatever that would be at it. You know, if the bell was ringing for period 3 and I needed to be on a plane to go to Perth, it was a little incongruent. So I had a colleague who I knew through life, through footy really, and he was a risk insurance broker, and he spoke to me. He goes, "Do you know much about mortgage and finance?" And I said, "No, not particularly." And he goes, "I want to show you some things." So I got curious about it, delved into it, and I went, "Oh my God, I think this actually would suit what my passions and skills are." You know, the education piece, the advocacy piece, relationship, build a business. So yeah, that's what got me there.
Yeah, I love it.
But also I think that your background in education would play in quite a bit, because I know that a lot of the clients that we deal with who are trying to navigate the getting the finance piece or the managing the buy and the sell, it is around education and, so that would be quite helpful, I would imagine, to the clients that you work with now.
We lean into that heavily. There's no one way to do anything. And I feel like I see a lot of different stuff at the moment, and there's a lot of noise. There's so much noise in everything. There's a lot of noise in the finance space at the moment. In 2026, I think you'll see a little bit more of this regarding, what's appropriate and what isn't in terms of the influence piece, the social media and marketing, the noise basically, and ensuring that we don't have the fake news getting peddled around, right? And so the education piece is really important, because I do truly believe that once broadly people have the information and they understand it, they don't have to understand it to a level where they can come and work the next day at Chamberlain Co. But they should be able to talk to one another at the barbecue and be able to conceptually articulate what they're trying to achieve and how. And once they've got that information and they know, and you've listened to them, you've gone through that process with them, you understand what they're looking to do, you understand them and the hierarchy of the need. There's lots of needs. What's the primary and then what comes after. And then you go about developing that plan and you communicate that to them in a manner that they understand, and then they have agency to make their choice. That's what broking is. And the education piece and that background is a fundamental pillar to what we do and how we do it.
Explain it in a way that people who don't know the industry can understand
break
and
it
break it down exactly.
Bust the jargon, but also, right, really importantly, illustrate it so they can consume it and understand it. Oh, okay, that's how interesting. They're calculating that daily. Yeah, they are. And then they whack you at the end. Okay, great. How do I minimise that? All right, well, there's an array of strategies. Do you want to have kerosene bars and cat food every day? Well, tell me about your lifestyle, right? Let's pull that apart. Let's have some real chat. And then these are your choices. And then ultimately it comes down to what's your priority? How disciplined are you? And can you align those? Or is it all rhetoric but the behaviour doesn't align? And that'll come down to the individual. And I'm not here to tell anyone how to live their life. I don't like anyone telling me how to live mine. But we'll certainly provide them with the choices.
Because I just think that so many people don't understand offset accounts, don't understand the interest calculates daily, don't understand bridging finance. And then even when they just hear these, bridging finance is bad, so I'm not going to, but then actually maybe it's not.
Makes more sense for them than not, depending on the circumstances,
Yeah, for me, particularly in this space of sell, buy, refinance, wealth creation, whatever the juju is or the vibe is that any individual's going about, for me it's about understanding what's real. So we all have preconceived ideas because we've heard things or lived through things or thought we saw something, or we're at the water cooler and, Steve from accounts was talking about the St. George Bank Shabangabang facility that he's in or whatever. But your circumstances, the way you earn, your credit history, your assets and liability, whatever it might be, aren't even remotely the same as Steve from accounts. So what's relevant actually to you? Let's build that plan out. Let's understand that and let's talk about that.
And that's where the key role of a mortgage broker is that, versus just, I was banking with Commonwealth Bank when I was 9 years old with that little thing they gave me at school, and then therefore I'm going to go into my local branch, which soon may not exist. And in fact, really what people need to be doing is getting a little bit more creative with it, because that is how you can get the most out of it, is by someone looking at their individual circumstances and working out, who is going to be the best fit for you in terms of banking.
It's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
So there's this advocacy piece that brokers should, I believe, my view is, should lean into. And then, you'll hear words where we try and make it a bit sexy and start talking about strategic lending and what. But all we're breaking down really is what are you trying to do here? What's the play here? Come tell me in your words. Give me the elevator pitch, right? Now we've got all the technical income, liability, dependence, living expenses. That's all sitting there. So they're the numbers, and they are what they are, and we can pull levers on those. Fine. But I think really what's super important is hearing your client, and understanding what is the driver. Okay, now let's map this out. And there's often multiple ways you can go about it.
Yeah.
And it's about finding the one that fits them best, communicating why that is, and then hearing the questions and that come back and clarifying. Okay, now let's activate.
Mm-hmm.
So planning.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I always say to my daughter, we go slow to go fast, mate. Right, let's get it right at the start, and then we'll get cracking. So that frustrates her. She's 16.
So
it's a contact sport, and she's impulsive.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna go, hey, pump the brakes, kiddo. Can we chat this out for 2 minutes? And I think that's really important in broking.
Yeah.
I think we're totally like jumping and making sure, not knowing if everyone knows the difference between or why mortgage brokers are valuable for people rather than just going direct to their banks. I mean, what would you say is the main advantage of utilising a broker over just going like, I bank with Westpac, why don't I just ring Westpac and get a loan?
Brokers access lenders. So often you'll hear this pitch about, bugger the banks and all that. And I understand that vibe and what we're talking about there. We're trying to represent and advocate for the client. We want to minimise the expense of getting a loan and making sure that they're looked after and not ripped off and all of those things. But ultimately, broker doesn't exist without the funder, which are the banks, yeah? But which bank and which product and which policy aligns to the way you earn and what you're trying to achieve? And there's so much noise, and they'll market that they're all the same essentially. Oh, we've got that product, but they might be overexposed in that space, the particular lender. And so whilst they're not going to say out loud, oh, we're not doing that at the moment. So you might get knocked back at that bank.
Yeah.
But the one up the road's busting to do that finance.
Yeah.
But you're not to know that. And brokers should, and broker will know. There's a couple of, I think, more fundamental reasons why broker, in my opinion, and good broker, great broker, not just any broker, right? Like it's like a dentist.
Yes.
I went to the dentist and it was no good, but that dentist was great, right? So great broker. Why is I think that advantageous for client? There's a couple of reasons. Broker and are governed by this acronym. There's plenty of them called BID.
Yeah.
It's best interest duty. And essentially what that is, if I break it down in a real simple chat, is that the customer will have needs and objectives. And then there's all the bits that sit around that, around the compliance piece. And so where the lender that they end up and the product that they end up in, et cetera, that should be congruent and aligned with their stated need and objective. Banks aren't governed by that. So they're selling a product.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a different value proposition, not right or wrong, just different. And so for me, I would like to have an advocate who can go to market and check it all out and find out which one's aligned best for what I'm after.
That feels like broker works for buyer first and bank works for business first.
And that's okay,
That's
right?
okay.
And again,
we need bank. We need bank.
Absolutely. It's the whole ecosystem, right?
Yes.
And broker does not survive or exist without the banks.
Yeah.
But we're there to represent the client.
Yes.
And they're providing profit to shareholders. And so there's a point of difference.
Absolutely.
You just a few moments ago spoke about water cooler chat, and I feel like
I call them barbecue bandits.
barbecue bandits. I feel like the latest rate announcement,
yeah.
right? First Tuesday,
Rates.
right.
You're walking through the office and you hear rates.
Whispering in the distance over the water cooler. I mean, we've had one announcement this year. What do you think? I mean, do you see it change the conversations? Do you see often around before or after that first Tuesday more calls, less calls, more movement? What do you think is going to happen for the rest of the year? I mean, we hate water cooler chat, but we've got to ask questions.
Broadly speaking, activity breeds activity in any industry, right? So when there's noise and there's meetings and there's announcements, the flow on of that is increased activity. For me, if we've got a client and a 0.25% in the cash rate, if that's going to make or break a deal, I'm not sure that's a great strategy that they're implementing if they're redlining everything, right? So for me, if it's 1, 2 or 3 shifts in interest rates in the variable or the cash rate, if that's going to cause sleepless nights, then we're probably we're barking
shouldn't take out the loan.
We're going down the wrong street.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, there will be times in life where events that are potentially unforeseen will require a shift in strategy. And so therefore all of a sudden it might be, okay, for the next 2 years, because of this thing that's happening in your life, there might be an illness, there might be a shift in job, whatever it might be. Hey, some budgetary certainty might actually, just for this period, really alleviate that anxiety, which the value of which is enormous for your health and well-being and what have you. Let's fix some of this, right? And then we know what it is. Broadly, that wouldn't be the starting position that I would have when I'm having conversation with client, because again, talking about how is interest charged and calculated and how do you minimise that? It's about additional repayment and parking, which fixed rates don't necessarily allow you to do. So what do I see happening in terms of the year? Oh my God, how about globally the uncertainty that exists? So I just feel like anybody who's steadfast telling you what's going to be the situation in November, probably going to unsubscribe if that's all right.
Totally.
But I do think it's reasonable to say, with the most recent iteration of the RBA and the leadership that sits within it, there is a calmness and there's no outlandish statements and there's a thread to what is being articulated more broadly. And so and they have that to this point anyway, done what they said they're going to do.
Yeah.
And they don't shift from that. So, you know, I think we may see another shift up in the cash rate, but I'm not alarmed about there being any seismic explosion that's going to happen anywhere. Yeah.
It's so interesting. I mean, people obviously every day, buyers and sellers both will talk about the changes with the cash rate. And I'm just always saying to them, you know, you think that that's going to have some huge seismic impact on people's capacity or the market. And we're yet to see that occur. It does change conversations and sentiment, which is what can change
psychology,
or impact.
right?
Correct. Like buyer psychology has the highest impact on property prices versus a 0.25% cash rate change. But like you say, I think so many people forget that brokers, bankers, anyone, people in finance, they're not allowing their clients to stretch to a position where that would not be achievable to manage ever.
And they're tough conversations sometimes to have with the client. It's the old TikTok generation. I used to read The Lord of the Rings and I watch my daughter on her phone and she can't look at anything for longer than 2 seconds. You know, it makes me crook. I'm watching her flick through or scrolling through these reels.
Yeah.
So there's this instantaneous need and I think that can be problematic when you're talking about purchasing something like a property, right, which isn't fluid. Right. So I think you want to be taking your time, getting your ducks in a row, making sure you've got your strategy worked out, making sure you've got your finance worked out, having the right team around you, you know, and then making your decision and going about it in that way. I'm yet to see disastrous results when people undertake that type of a mindset towards their finance and their property acquisition, as opposed to, I was walking down Cavill Ave after a big night out with the Dale, and then we bought something up here. That doesn't work out well.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I love a good snap decision, Ray. I like a good quick decision.
Make your decisions once you've got your stuff sorted.
Know where you're going first, and then
you wouldn't go to a gunfight without the bullets loaded, would you?
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like we'll talk about something for 2 years, and then seemingly you make a snap decision when in fact you've been talking about and planning for it for 2 years.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Load the gun.
Yeah.
Lob up.
Have it sitting
now
ready.
Shoot your shot. Right?
Yeah. No, totally.
Talking about borrowing capacity, when do you think the best time is for buyers to chat to someone like yourself? I feel like a lot of friends that I talk to, they're like, I don't have, the 20% deposit or whatever it may be, or just not yet. And I'm like, just chat, because if you don't have a goal, you don't know sort of what you're working towards. I mean, but then I also feel like people would get nervous reaching out to you perhaps if they feel like they're so far away from purchasing. When do you say just call us whenever? Do you say, you got to have a bit of money in the bank, or what? Or you've got.
When's the best time to plant a tree? Tabitha? Like 10 years ago, right? And when's the next best time? Today, right? So when's the best time? Now. Pick up. So you talk about the 20% deposit. That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? To be able to have that and have that buffer, and the loan amount's only this, and potentially we avoid mortgage insurance. What is that? How does it impact? But if you're waiting for that, that might not actually be the smartest play in the world, because by the time you save that, the thing that you were going to purchase has grown to this now. So there's a far more broader conversation that needs to take place, rather than, I don't have this or I don't have that. What you don't have is a plan. What you don't currently have is informed decision making. So let's engage in that. There's such a diverse array of lending instruments that are out there at different lenders, non-banks, banks, that can cater to just about anything.
Yeah.
It's just about the notion of opportunity cost. Okay, that's going to cost me an extra 1% on what that, as opposed to that bank, but I can get in now. I've got this much buffer. So have the conversation, get the information, and then build out your plan. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was just going to say one quick follow-up question. So if someone wants to reach out to Chamberlain Co, are those complimentary chats? Do they pay for that strategy session? What's the go when working with you?
Yeah, there are some clients where we charge fees, but the initial consultation we don't, and it's unusual. It's only when we are going to incur an array of expenses ourselves, and often with those sort of circumstances, it's a commitment fee, and then once it's executed, you get reimbursed, because we're not there for the tire kicking. So again, we're volunteers, not hostages at Chamberlain Co. So there's no noose, or there's no chains to your wrists,
just under the desk.
Yes. But so you reach
free.
out with, whether it's via our website or whatever else, and there's an inquiry piece. You can either call us, you can either lodge that, and you'll have someone from the team who'll be in contact with you within the day and set it up from there. So that's how we like to operate.
Love that. And with those people, if we're going to talk about those people who are potentially coming to you slightly early, they're deciding to plant the tree today, and maybe they've got a goal to purchase in 2026 at some point in this year, and they sit down with you, perhaps they're not quite there with their savings side of things. That aside, what other sort of advice do you find yourself often giving these people if they're looking to purchase this year? What's something that they can do, tangible advice?
Yeah.
Stop with the Uber Eats.
Yeah,
Or is that fake news?
No, that ain't fake news. That's that was undertaken at the Chamberlain household at the end of 2025.
Yeah. Or what's the new Uber Eats transaction piece would definitely be, what is it, OnlyFans?
Have you been?
No judgment here.
No judgment.
No judgment here.
But boom.
I'll never forget a good mate of mine, and I won't name names because that'd be so inappropriate. But he sent me through some statements of an account, and there was these redacted lines.
Oh, God.
I had to ring up and go, I can't send that into the bank, mate, right? You're just going to have to muscle up. And it wasn't anything horrific at all. But he was just
shameful.
like,
A little bit shameful.
He was just like, and I'm like, mate, relax. But, coming back to your question, one of the things that I think is so powerful is choosing and directing where you put your money.
Yeah.
So when it has no direction, you'll burn it.
Yes.
But if you go, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve. I'm trying to achieve. Okay, hey, I've worked with my broker, and I'm aware of what that needs to look like, and then directing your money. So as soon as it comes out of you're paid and it's going to land and it goes to where it needs to.
Yes.
It's amazing the momentum and and how far you can go when you're doing that, as opposed to pie in the sky rhetoric. I need this, I need that, but I don't change anything fundamentally or structurally to what I'm doing.
Yep.
So it's not the sexiest word that's in the English language, but a budget is and just taking a look. And again,
budget.
I'm not one, again, for the kerosene bars and cat food, right? Like I like to go out. I like to do these things and socialise. It's part of my life. But we're coming back to this hierarchy of need. What is the actual goal? Okay, is that just shit talk, or are you wanting to achieve it? If you're wanting to achieve it, let's talk about that plan and get about achieving it.
Yeah.
So certainly understanding where your money's going currently, and if you're comfortable with that, play on. And if you're not, let's shift some shit. Yeah. So I think those are the sorts of things that you need to be undertaking. And if you're going to a great broker, they should be having these conversations with you, and they should be providing you with some really simple tools to be able to get that sorted for yourself.
Even just automating that a little bit, from payday.
It's 100% automation.
Like,
Don't you touch it.
Don't you touch
Make
it.
the
Have it
decision.
happen. And it's exactly that. Like I'm old school spender, If I've got it there, it's gone. So I just, it's all gone. I'm like, I'm poor again,
Yeah. Well, talking about budgeting, I've actually engaged with AI, old ChatGPT, to help me say where I'm going wrong in life.
Okay.
And so basically I just pop my spending in there at the end of every day and getting it to give me a summary at the end of the month. Like, you go out for too many dinners. Rein it in, mate.
Yeah.
I
Did you put your spending in last night?
I did this morning, and I transcribed it to ChatGPT and quickly closed it so I couldn't see the feedback. But whatever.
And by the way, the cadence around those things shift.
Yes.
So if we're looking to secure a new purchase, and we're trying to get some coin here, there, or wherever, fine. Once that's undertaken, there might be a period of time where it's like,
fun time.
You know what? Well done. Now, again, if it's all just about minimising interest accrued at bank and what have you, we can have that mindset too.
Yeah.
But it's about understanding what you are trying to achieve, being really comfortable with that, and then action that.
Yeah.
The action piece.
Exactly.
Right, let's do the doing, shall we?
Yeah.
Enough of the chat.
Do the doing,
and
but still enjoy your life.
Yeah. I mean, I think also that's where we as a team work in so well, because people build out that plan with you and then have their 3 months of pre-approval, go out there and don't transact, and then they're back to you in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. The market's moved 5%, 10%. So we can you can do the plan on the finance side and we can do the plan on the property side, which is pretty key to
help execute the plan.
Yeah.
You set them up, we'll execute it.
And to be fair, in terms of the experience, particularly throughout 2025, there were some cracking wins, and not all of them were straightforward. And they did require, if we want to use the word strategy, it was like, okay, we want to do that. We can make that happen, but this and this, if we can get it in this order, this happens now.
Yeah.
If we can't get that in this order, then it's going to be a 2026 story. Armed with that information, and people have said, no, we wanted to do that in 2025. Next minute, we've done that, and they've executed in 2025. So the collaboration of the people who are the trusted team that are around the clients, that's really important. And clear communication around that obviously means that we're all aligned, clear expectations. It's funny how the results follow that type of process.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. We say to the clients, well, everyone's always like, what if you don't buy it for us? I'm like, I mean, the what if is always there, but we always buy.
Yeah. You want to buy,
We've got the process in place. That's the goal. That's what will be the outcome.
Yeah. Execute.
And patience is not easy, particularly with things that are pretty big, and they're exciting and all of those sorts of things. But going in and getting after the right one, because that's the great thing about advocacy, right? It's not sales directly. It's actually you said to us that this was the play. That doesn't fit that.
Totally.
Because of A, B, and C. That ain't the one. And that's so powerful and valuable for the client, because it's not just this transaction, right? Generally speaking, people have got aspiration for multiple acquisition. And if you get the first one wrong, that's going to pull the handbrake up on the next one.
Exactly.
Big. So again, the right team and then getting it right at the front end.
Yeah.
So when's the right time? Come and talk to your broker now.
Yeah.
Make an appointment. And get the information and be empowered by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time of year to start having that conversation, I think, which I think leads us to, we've got a very important event which we are super excited to attend. Coming up in a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Chamberlain Foundation annual Gala Ball.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Iteration number 11. So, we're 27th of February. That's my favourite month to try and articulate. 27th of Feb. Ritz-Carlton.
Yes.
They're legends. They
Black tie.
support us beautifully. And Shane Crawford is going to be the key note speaker. He'll be interviewed up on stage. We've got bands and there's activations and all sorts of stuff. Selling tickets at the moment, chamberlainfoundation.com.au.
Amazing.
So the foundation is something that I do with my brothers, and there's two sisters. They're not our sisters. They are sisters, and they're on our board.
Yeah.
And this has been running now for 11 years. So what we do, we're not experts at much, but what we do is we run events, we raise funds, and then we distribute those funds to beneficiaries who are doing great work in the space of mental illness, well-being, however you want to talk about that, mental fitness, and suicide prevention and grief and loss support. So as with any of these things, you have your personal experiences that's the catalyst behind that. But what has been great, it's a celebration for our tribe. So the people come together who support us every year, and the beneficiary from the year before, they present, hey, this is what we did. You guys supported us.
Fantastic.
These are the programs we've done. These are the results, etc.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot when we set this thing up. So DGR status, and so all of the compliance and but it's been real. It's probably the coolest thing that's come out of footy for me.
Yeah.
Like being able to have networks to be able to get these things to happen. The football industry more broadly have been so supportive.
Yeah.
We've had people like James Hurd and Nathan Buckley, Jared Waitley, Damien Fleming. All these people have come along and supported what we do. We have what I like to call everyday heroes who come and tell their story, whether it be micro paramedics and police officers and things like that. But so we're really looking forward to this year. It goes from strength to strength. We'll have nearly 400 people there.
Amazing.
Wrap that you guys are going to be there to be able to see it. So that'll be good fun. But tickets are on sale currently. And again, you go to chamberlainfoundation.com.au and there's a buy ticket now, and you just go from there. But won't disclose who the beneficiaries are yet. We'll do that on the night for next year.
Yeah.
But the entertainment, the vibe, black tie, it's good fun and it's a celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Amazing.
it. What a brilliant cause.
I know.
We're looking forward to it, and come and hang out with us
Yeah.
on the 27th.
Exactly.
It's all about us.
Get on it. Get on it.
Get on it. We've got 2 weeks to get some tickets.
We've got so many more questions on here that we haven't even answered, so we might need part 2 with you, Ray. But you did talk about your daughter scrolling through TikTok, and I must admit, when you retired from AFL, there was many
little Razor Ray summaries on TikTok of all your famous lines. And in fact, we've got our podcast helper here, and he's called you Zesty.
Producer.
Zesty?
Producer. That's the word.
Helper.
Helper. Oh, yeah. Producer helper. He called you Zesty, and I love that word for you because you're an absolute character. And these TikTok videos of you and the calls you were saying and the lines you were saying to all the players were hilarious. But yeah, tell us a bit about your umpiring career. Do you miss it?
Yeah,
Do you love? Is it a distant memory and like broking's my life now?
No, it's not a distant memory at all. It's something like it's the best game in the world. Like I love sport broadly. I'm a sport junkie, and as a kid, you know, I was either riding a bike, hitting a ball, kicking a ball. Like it was always sport, and so I'm still passionate about sport, and I love AFL footy. And obviously, the vehicle by which I got to engage in it was I played footy until I was 18, and I wasn't good enough to play AFL footy. I just wasn't. But it turned out that I could umpire okay, and that provided me with the opportunity. And I'll never forget coming to Melbourne, pursuing this thing, and I was such an embryo in terms of understanding. And I went to an Anzac Day game, and we had these passes that could get us into the ground at the VFL, and I went in, and it was like I'd never been to this, and it was chock-a-block, and the last post is sounding, and you can hear the flag flapping, and it's like there's 100,000 people in here, and you can hear a pin drop. It was just the best, and I went, I've got to be involved in that. I so want to be involved in that, and I don't regret anything about it, and it's not all beers and Skittles either, right? Like you get more kicks in the arse than licks of the ice cream in anything when it comes to elite sport. I can promise you that. And you know, even the people who have got these champion careers and have nailed things, you don't know about all the stresses and the surgeries and the rehabilitation and the opportunities missed because you've got to dedicate yourself to that.
Yeah.
But I don't regret any of that because the experiences that came with it have been awesome. I don't have any desire to go back.
I was going to say, well, what's one of the toughest parts about having hung up your boots?
Well,
Did you wear boots?
No,
You want boots? There you go.
But
Did they have little things in the front?
I tell you what I didn't realise. I tell you what I didn't realise, and I didn't realise it until the season started for last year, and I wasn't out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you carry this unconscious anxiety around what's coming next because you're competitive, you're aspirational, you want to be selected to do the big games and grand finals, and there's 41 other people that are doing what you're doing on the list who are competing for that, and there's only 4 spots, right? So you are all trying to fight for that. And so every week it's like, have I got sleep? Have I done this?
Yes.
Have I done that? The training and all of the bits and pieces. Have I had enough fluid? Have I eaten at the right time? Because if I don't eat too late, too soon, I'll be sick or I'll be flat. I'll train shit. Then it's like, okay, when do I travel for the game? You only find out on the Monday, Tuesday of
for
the
that
week.
Weekend.
So you don't. So trying to plan client meetings or going to that just doesn't happen. And then you go, okay, when do I got to start taking my anti-inflammatories? When do I have to take? So there's this constant micro choices that are happening every single day that relate to what you think will give you the best chance not to fuck it up and actually perform well, right? And so then when you don't have that and you got a bit happening with work or you got to go and pick your kid up because they're at the Australian Open till dipshit o'clock, right? It's not a big deal. I can go and pick her up and drop all the girls home and they get home safe and that's fine.
Did you do that recently?
Yeah, I did. There's a bit of trauma. But the point being is I can do that now and not worry about, I'm going to train like shit tomorrow and what does that mean?
Totally.
And the weight of that
lifted
off your chest is, I actually felt it and I was like, oh my God, I've been carrying that shit for 20 years.
Yes.
So that was something that was unforeseen. I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind that.
Oh yeah.
But when I go to the G and I do some little stuff with some radio and stuff like that, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
when I'm driving to the MCG, I still get goosies. Like I'm still like, man, I'd like to be out there tonight. Like that'd be unreal.
So fun.
Because it is the best fun. No one's there to cheer for you, and you know that.
Yeah.
But,
They're
it,
about
but
to
it seems
boo
to me
you.
they sort of, oh, really? I thought you had full fans.
No, well, they do,
but they don't like your decisions
Yeah.
sometimes.
No,
yeah.
exactly. So it goes like this. So an incident will take place.
Yeah.
And say there's 100,000 at the MCG
Yeah.
on preliminary final night. And I can think of one. There was a marking contest with Brandon Starcevich and I think it was Jamie Elliott. But it was the Collingwood-Brisbane game. And it was
I'm like, I know that name.
it was
Collingwood
a
supporter over here.
key decision. It was so line
Yeah.
ball, right?
Yeah.
And the joint just went
Bananas.
nuts, right?
Yeah.
And so 50,000 people are going to go, it's that.
Yeah, exactly.
50,000 people are going to say, it's that. And you might pick a third option as the umpire, and 100,000 people, Tabitha, come together to agree on one thing. You don't have a clue what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the role, and that takes quite
That's
it's a
incredible.
pretty tough mindset to have to take, but the challenge is really cool, and and the sport is great. The athletes, whether it's the W or the lads,
Yeah.
they're unbelievably brave,
Yeah.
and they rip in. I've got such admiration for what they do.
Put their bows on the line.
And so no, I've loved being involved with the AFL. It was
Yeah.
great, but
Yeah.
I'm real happy to go. That's done.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how many years did you do it for?
20
years.
Yeah.
And is there like a true moment that totally sticks out for you?
Oh,
It's
there's
just
stacks.
like on the deathbed, you're like, you have a little smile.
Yeah, you tell
Remember
people to
that day.
read it out in your eulogy
Yeah.
that
I don't know
was
about
the
reading it out in
moment.
a eulogy, but if you ask me what is a little thing that would make
Make
you
you
smile,
smile,
I
you know?
remember my first grand final was the 2010 grand final,
Yep.
which was Collingwood versus St Kilda. It ended up being a draw,
Yeah.
and there was a replay the
Yes, a
following
week
week,
later,
which was
we were
the
in
best.
real estate in Richmond.
Oh, that's right. We had to postpone all our auctions another week.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and people still talk about those postponements today. But I do remember my coach sort of saying to me, "Okay, there's a dude in the middle who takes the first bounce,
Yeah.
and that was our boy Brett, and he was the rock star. Brett will look after that. Ray, you just toddle off down the end over there and just take a deep breath and chill out and immerse yourself and get in the vibe of the game, and
Yeah.
it'll all happen." And within like 15 seconds, Collingwood's kicked the first goal, and I'm standing in the middle of the MCG with a football in my hand, and it was like it was a hand grenade. I'm just going, and what happens is a chime goes off in your ear to say the ad's finished.
Okay.
You've got 4 seconds, bounce it straight, please, right?
bounce
And
it
I'm sitting there
straight.
going, for the love of God, go up straight, right? And I nailed it. Like I smoked
Yeah.
it. And I was just like, yeah, boy. Like that was the best. I was just exhale. Oh,
I
thank
love
Christ.
it.
And so I was away. And that, if you asked me what was a moment,
That
that
little
was sick.
moment
I went,
there.
oh, yeah, I flushed that. Yeah, that was good.
Pressure.
love
The
it.
pressure.
Oh, I've got
believe.
goosies right
Yeah.
now. I
I
love
know.
sport.
Imagine
I
being
love
a
it.
player though. Like imagine that. Like I couldn't.
I
I,
feel
know
like-
what we do, but they're flogging each other. And,
Yeah,
all
of course.
that whole anxiety piece and being able to control emotion and
Yes.
head and just stay in the now.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
And
But yeah, I
stay
do remember that.
focused, even when you've got, like you say, 50,000 or 100,000 people screaming sort of at you.
But you know what? I remember the first very big game I ever did, and it was Collingwood Carlton at the MCG. And I think it was Chris Tarrant kicked this goal, and the ball was like a dribbling goal. So it sort of went dun, 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 dun through, right? And I'd only umpired scrapper games up until then because like I was just, the
Young
newbie.
buck.
I was the newbie. And the crowd went apeshit.
Yeah.
And I felt the noise hit me in
Yes.
the chest. And I was like, we're not in Kansas anymore. Wow, what's this? But like that's addictive.
Yes,
Like
I
that
can
stuff
imagine.
is like it is good fun.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you know what? It's meant to be fun too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Like calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell that
Yeah.
to
Well,
these guys. What are they? The Collingwood supporters.
I know, it sounds like you've got a close love affair with Collingwood. That's my key takeaway.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Collingwood makes quite a few
memorable moments.
Yeah, a few mentions.
They
in the-
that Mick Malthouse side, they were going gangbusters when I was at an opportunity where I was getting opportunity. So the St
Yeah.
Kilda, them, Geelong,
Yes.
Hawthorn, and the Swans. They were they were kind of, and then the Bulldogs were in and around the mix too. And they were probably the 5 big dog teams. And then over 20 years, obviously there's different iterations. So there was a period of time there where the West Australian teams,
Yes.
they were unbelievable. So you're on a plane every second week going to Perth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all shifts and there's lots of stories, but I reckon that bounce, that's the answer.
That bounce, that bounce. So Howard, one more question about the bounce now.
Oh no.
Because the ball, obviously.
What does it look like, Sam?
Go on,
What was
Shannon.
the last?
What is that?
Like this. Is that not a football, everybody?
I'll get one.
That's
One
a
in the car.
football.
I'll get it out. We'll see. Go
Have
on.
you got one in the car?
I do.
I've got
Yeah.
a basketball in the boot of my car, which is perfectly round. So when you bounce it
Yeah.
at the games, at
Yes.
your games, how many times did you bounce it and go, shit?
No, too many. Like
Too
it was
many.
horrible, and
Horrible.
it wasn't my skill set. We've got some, obviously they've got rid of the bounce now.
Yeah.
But throughout the time that I was there were some people who were just unbelievably gifted at it. It's
Yeah.
like if we think of other sports to try and who people have actually played who are thinking like golf, driving the ball. Some people just seem to be just so gifted at how they do it. That wasn't me when it came to the bounce. I had other skill sets that were my strengths. I just tried to manage there. But
Was that player management?
player
conversation?
management, dialogue. No, I could run too. That was the thing for me. I could
I'll
get
bet
around.
you could run.
I could get around the place. That helped me out. But yeah, the bounce wasn't my favourite thing to do, Sam.
How many steps would you do in a game? Do you know?
Oh, distance covered shifted enormously.
Distance covered, yeah.
Because the game and the way it's played shifted, and then what we were required to do and where we had to go depending on whatever's happening in the game, that's changed enormously. But early doors, it was sort of high teens in terms of kilometres.
Wow.
But it was all sort of this plod, ball go out that way, come back out the other way.
Yeah.
Then the game shifted and it was all full court press and what have you, and then we had to go with the players. So it was always still around 13 to 16 Ks that you would cover. But some of that's walking, some of it's jogging.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Some of it's sprinting.
But now that there's 4 of them on the field umpires I'm talking about, the volume has dissipated enormously. And so now it's more around the cognitive piece, right? The decision making rather than the athleticism requirement. And there's arguments for and against and how that's actually translating into performance. But I think the system more broadly now is better for the game.
Yeah.
How it's served now. It's not, you don't have to be Mo Farah and be a middle distance 5K Olympian to umpire AFL football.
Umpire a game.
And so that's no longer a hurdle. So you might be an incredible decision maker.
Yes. But a
But
bad runner,
athletically not so good.
Yeah.
And we can't umpire AFL footy. But that's now been removed. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think our whole final chat about pressure now rolls us perfectly into the F,
into
marry,
it.
kill.
F, marry, kill.
Yeah.
But it's so
And
funny
we're
because
PC around here so we don't say the
No,
actual
I'm
word.
fine with that. Yeah.
But it's funny because like F, marry, kill with the 3 I've got here, it's ridiculous when you hear you talk about that and the level of pressure that you dealt with on the field because like I don't think about that fact that you've got potentially 100,000 people screaming at you that you were wrong.
Oh no, I
think
know
that's
that. I think it's the worst job ever.
Well, okay, so then I would ask you this. Have you ever umpired a game of AFL football?
No.
Then how would you know?
Just
right?
I imagine
the challenge
feeling,
itself
like
is
this-
actually – so here's the other thing, right? Here's a story that will illustrate my point, right?
Yeah.
Of course it's being directed at you. So there's this, woe is me, office sook mentality where you can go, oh, they're abusing me. It wouldn't matter which umpire was out there, right? Like they're barracking you, immersed in the game. It's passionate. It's the best, right? So I went to pick my daughter up, which was in primary school. And for whatever reason, and I don't recall why, but I was picking her up from after school care, which was unusual. But anyway, I got there and she was about in year 3. So, she's 8, 9. So she still loves me, thinks I'm cool. And she sees me and she comes barreling across and I get a hug. G'day, kiddo. Let's go and get a Scarlet Chino. Come on. And we get her bag and we're legging it out. And I saw these year 6 boys sort of do a double take. Anyway, the next day Scarlett comes home from school. She goes, oh, Dad, the year 5 and 6 boys were talking to me today. And I said, oh, were they just? And what did that entail? And she goes, oh, it's okay if I don't get the sporting equipment back before the second bell because normally if you don't return the equipment, you're banned for a week, right? She goes, but I don't get banned because you're my dad.
Oh.
And I said, oh, really? Okay, discuss. And she goes, oh, well, the boys asked, are you is your dad Razor Ray? And I said, what did you say, mate? And she goes, Dad, I don't even know what a Razor Ray is. And I said, nor do I, right? So there's this persona that was created. Now, everybody who knew me before I umpired AFL football, if they referred to me and it was either Ray or it was Chambo.
Yeah.
So if someone says, oh, Chambo, I know I met them
In
pre-AFL footy. That's at 2003 and back.
Yeah.
This Razor thing, there's some bullshit character that got made up along the way, which initially I had a real problem with, which was my issue. But now I just understand it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not personal because they don't know me. They never met me.
But it's kind of nice to have a persona for that part of your life. It's
Totally.
kind of like the Beyonce sort of thing that she says that she's got, what is it?
Sasha
Fierce.
Fierce.
Yeah,
Sasha Fierce.
exactly. So I kind of like
Alter
it.
ego.
In the end, I just think, again, as I was saying before, it's meant to be fun. Yeah, it's competitive. Yeah, it matters. It's serious. Of course, got all that. But it's also meant to be joyful. So for me, it was just a lean in, like embrace and be the best you can be, treat people well and get on with it.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So what should we call you now? What could it be now? Alter ego it's like something around. It's something around like it's Mr. Chamberlain Co. Or it's something. It's something really formal.
We're rebranding.
Yeah.
Well, you did make him put his blazer on for this podcast.
Thank him.
Tackled it on him.
To be fair, I had to walk 2 business days to get here, and he's steaming out there today.
He is.
But it's freezing in here.
Freezing in here.
Yeah, but
I know.
no, I think are we doing the FAQ?
Well, I think it's terrible now.
Yeah, let's bypass that. We've
gonna
had a great
bypass
chat.
that.
We're over
Yeah.
time. We want you back because there's 1,000,001 questions we haven't asked about fixed and variable rates and offsets and lender's mortgage insurance and all the rest of it. But you were a fantastic umpire. You're even a better mortgage broker in our opinion. We love working with you. Chamberlain Co. If you want to have any
A
chats,
really insightful conversation around your future in property lending.
If you've got a mortgage and you
any
want
question.
to sense check it and not sure if you're on the right rate or with the right bank or, they're probably there to answer those
strategy
questions.
session.
Complimentary strategy session. Reach out to the team there. But thank you so much for joining us.
Ladies, thank you very much. Thanks for everything you've been doing in advocating for our clients as well. We couldn't be happier. And look, it's definitely it's my business. I've been there for 20 years. But the greatest thing about is the team that I have.
They're amazing.
They're crackers, and I bloody love them. They're wonderful people, and they're invested. Like they genuinely invested in that care. So get online, have an inquiry, pick up the phone, but call your broker.
Yeah.
And then call us.
Love it. Great way to finish.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, girls.